up? This is MJ on the journey back to Silicon Valley. Today we're going to go over a tutorial about JavaScript promises and how to use them with React hooks. So first, let's look at a simple analogy. So this is a kid who wants to go and play outside, and he promises his mom that he's going to clean the room. She says, okay, fine, you can go and play outside, only if you clean your room. If you don't, you're going to have to do the laundry. So if he fulfills his promise to clean his room, he will get to play outside. If he doesn't, he's going to have to do laundry. So let's look at a more technical explanation of it. So a promise has two statuses. It's either resolved or rejected. So if the promise is fulfilled, it's resolved. If it's not fulfilled, it will be rejected. And what we will be using, if it's resolved, we will use the .then. And if it is rejected, we will use .catch, which will catch any error that resulted from the promise actually not being fulfilled. And promises is a way to handle asynchronous code in JavaScript. So it waits until a particular code runs and fulfills what it's supposed to do in order to go to the next step. So the next thing we're going to do, guys, so this is going to be a React application. We're going to see promises in the context of React hooks. So the first thing we will do is initialize a React application. And to do that, we're going to go into our terminal. And then to initialize a React app, we will do npx create React app. And we're going to call our app Leviticus. And it's going to be a nightclub app that checks your age. So if your age is more than 21, if he promises you're more than 21 years old, you will get to enter the nightclub. If your age is less than 21, then you will be denied entry. So basically the promise is if you promise you're 21, you get to come in. If you're not able to make that promise, then you cannot enter the club. So the application is going to be called Leviticus. So this is, Leviticus is the name of a nightclub in the Empire show, for those who are familiar with it. So that's what we're going to call our application. So we do npx create React app and name it Leviticus and then hit enter. And this will go ahead and install everything that we need, all the dependencies and the setup to actually run a React application. Now this may take a few moments depending on the speed of your computer. So if you were successful setting up your React application, you should see this. So we're going to cd into the directory we have just created. And then in the directory, we're going to do yarn start. You can also do npm start. Yarn is a little bit cleaner, in my opinion. So, and this will go ahead and start the React application on port 3000. If you see this, your React application is running fine. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to open up our application in VS Code. That's the code editor I'm using. Okay, so just a quick overview of the code here. We have a public folder and the source folder. Let's open up the source folder, and here we have app.js. And app.js is what is responsible for the code that you see right here running. So let's do a little bit of cleanup. We're going to get rid of everything inside of here. And let's go ahead and save. And let's open up our Explorer here. So app.js, for those that are not familiar with React as much, this is the main component of the app, and that is responsible. This is the highest level component. And if you create any other components within your React application, this is where it resides. So app is the main component. And app.css is where we write our CSS. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, so this is going to be a basic nightclub application that checks for your age. So if your age is 21, you can enter the club. If your age is less than 21, you cannot. And we said that we're going to do this in the context of React hooks. And React hooks is a way to keep track of the state of something. So for example, in our application, we need to keep track of age because that's the main thing we will be checking for. Okay, so to bring React hooks into this, we're gonna import, let's add an I here. Okay, so we're importing use state. Let's enlarge this so you guys can see it. So we're gonna import use state from React, and that's the first thing that we're gonna keep track of is the age. So down here, we're gonna do a const age and then set age. And then initially, we will set our age to 0. The next thing we want to keep track of is access. So whether you're allowed to enter the club or not. So we're going to do it like this, and we're going to call it access and then set access. For those that are not familiar with hooks, so this is how you initialize it. You create basically two variables. One variable is responsible for the state. The other variable is responsible for setting that state. So we're going to initialize this particular state here to an empty string. And basically that empty string is what's going to show up on the screen. It's going to tell us whether we can enter the club if we're 21 or older, or not enter if we're younger than 21, okay? So there are two things we're keeping track of here. We're going to keep track of the age, and we're going to keep track of access, whether that access is granted or denied, okay? So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to create a variable called age check, and this variable is going to be a promise. So this is where we will check for age, and it's going to be a promise that will fulfill successfully if the person is 21 years or older, and it will fail if the person is younger than 21, okay? So this is how we write a promise in JavaScript. So you do new promise, and inside here it takes a function that has two parameters, and here we're going to be using arrow functions. So the two parameters are resolve and reject. And resolve is when it's successful, reject is when the promise is unsuccessful. And then in here, we're going to check if age is more than or equal to 21, then our promise will resolve. And the resolve will be, you will see a message that says, enjoy your night. And if the person is younger than 21, our promise is going to fail, so we're going to reject. And in reject, you will see a message that says, not allowed to enter. So that's basically how you write a promise. You initialize the promise here, you put two parameters, resolve and reject, and then you check for your condition. So if your condition is met, the promise is going to be resolved. If the condition is not met, the promise is going to be rejected. Okay? Next thing we're going to do, guys, is set up our .then and .catch statements. Okay? And the way we do that, we go age check, and then we do .then, and this one will take care of the particular case when our promise actually resolves. So in here, we will access the response, and this is the response that happens in case our promise is successful, which is in this case, it will say enjoy your night. So once we access that, we will set access. We will set the state of our access to enjoy your night. And then if it fails, we're going to do a catch statement. And then in this catch statement, we will access the status of our access, which will be not allowed to enter. Okay? So here we will set access to not allowed to enter. Okay? Now, down here, first we're gonna pull a logo image just to make our app look good, and we're gonna also add some CSS, okay? So let's pull that image first. Okay, let's go in here. Let me move this. Okay, so I have a picture that I got off of the internet. All right, so in here, we're gonna do an image. And the source of that image will be logo. And let's include our alt here, just to make it accessible in case the image does not show up on the browser. And then up here, we will do import logo from Leviticus.jpg. And that's how we pull our image. And then under this, we're gonna do an H2 that says Leviticus nightclub. Okay, and then under that, we're gonna put an input that will allow us to capture the age of the user. In here, we're gonna put a placeholder that says enter your age. Right? Okay, so let's just put it down here. And then also we're gonna put an on change, which captures whenever the input of the user changes, it captures that. So on change here, we're gonna do, we're gonna first capture the event, and then once we capture the age of the user, we're gonna set age in the state. We're gonna do set age to event dot target dot value. Okay, and then okay, we're gonna add some style here because we're gonna have a black background, as in like signifying night or like a nightclub sort of feel. So in here we're gonna put the color of the input to white so that we can see it. And then the next thing, we're gonna check for age. So if age is more than 0, the reason we're doing more than 0, because initially in the state we set age to 0. So if the age is more than 0, it definitely means that the user has entered some sort of value that we're gonna check. Okay, so if age is more than 0, then we will show an H2. We will show an H2 that will tell us access, whether that access is granted or denied. And then this H2, we will style it. I'm gonna do a margin top of 50 pixel so that it has a little bit of room on the top, and also to keep in mind there's going to be a logo on top of it. There's an image here. Okay, so I think that's good for that. And then in our app.css, we're going to add some CSS here. Let me just grab it from here and I'm going to paste it. Okay, so yeah, we can just get rid of any CSS that's in here. We're not going to need it. This CSS comes initially with any React application. So instead of that CSS, we're going to put our own CSS here. And these are just some CSS rules to make our application not look completely bland, okay? Okay, so yeah, so that's it for that CSS. You guys can just go ahead and like copy it. CSS is not the objective of this particular tutorial. It's just to not make the app look really bad. So let's save here and see what we have so far, guys. Oh, okay. We need to get rid of this. That's what came initially with the React application. Let's go ahead and save now. Can't resolve Leviticus. Okay, can't resolve Leviticus. Let's look at it here. Oh, we made a mistake here. This is not a V. It's supposed to be a C. Let's go ahead and save. Okay, great. So here's our application, guys. So that's the logo of Leviticus. It says Leviticus Nightclub. And then in here, we need to enter our age. So if we've done everything correct, If we enter an age that is 21 or older, it will tell us enjoy your night. If not, it will tell us you're not allowed to enter. Okay? And I think down here, no, everything is correct. Age is more than or equal to 21. Okay, so let's try it, guys. Let's first do 18, okay? And boom, there it is. See, it says not allowed to enter. And now if we change it to 21, it says enjoy your night. So there it is, guys. That is how you use promises in the context of React hooks. Okay, so let's just go over another overview really quick. So what we've done initially, we've imported the useState hook to enable us to keep track of age and access. So we need to see, is the age equal or more than 21? And then we need to see if the access is granted or denied. And then in here, the way will resolve and tell you enjoy your night if you're 21 or older, and it will reject and tell you not allowed to enter if you are younger than 21. And then in here, we access our promise, and we use a .then statement to set the access to enjoy your night if it resolves, and then to catch an error and set the access to not allowed to enter if the user is younger than 21. And then in here, we just render our HTML elements. And here we use the onChange. And this is what captures what the user enters. So once we capture what the user enters, we set the age, and then we check it against access, whether they can come in or not. So that's basically it, guys. That's how you use promises in the context of React hooks. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more. And please consider supporting the journey with a cup of coffee. There's a link on how to do that in the video. And that will do it for today. Until next time, this is MJ on the journey back to Silicon Valley.